You may be seated. Although our Executive Director, Mr. Garvey, will provide a more formal welcome on behalf of our Army JROTC program, my name is Cadet Master Sergeant Alexa Colon, and it is my pleasure to welcome veterans and guests, administrators, teachers, staff, and students. We would like to take a moment to thank all those involved in making this assembly a success. Mr. Turazani in maintenance for the setup, Mr. Buck in TV20, Ms. Pagan for the breakfast planning, Mr. Pappas for the programs, Ms. Hall for the PowerPoint presentation, Mr. Civic for the musicians, and Ms. Dahl-Hassan for the wonderful breakfast provided for our veterans this morning. This Sunday, November 11th, is Veterans Day. It is a day set aside to honor the sacrifices that our veterans and their families have made. This assembly is in honor of our veterans, but also a reminder for all of us that we are all to remember and never forget the sacrifices of our veterans and their families. Now please stand to your feet as we honor the American flag. The color guard is commanded by Cadet Corporal Corrales Angulo, and the national anthem will be performed by Cadet Sergeant First Class Veronica Roberic. After the color guards are posted, remain standing while Cadet Major Sam Dandria leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light was so proudly wheeled at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, and the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the nights that our flag was still there. Oh, say there's that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Please join me in saying the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce the Lorain High School Executive Director, Mr. Daniel Garvey.
Good morning and welcome all to our Veterans Day celebration. It is an honor and privilege for each and every one of our students to be in the presence of our community's veterans. We must always remember that we and many others around the world are indebted to our armed services for the freedom and liberty we enjoy. On behalf of our school administration, teachers, staff, and students, I want to thank each and every one of you for your service to our country. If we could have a round of applause for our veterans. I also want to thank you for the example you set for our young people here at Lorain High School. I can think of no better group to exemplify what it truly means to live out the core values we hope to instill in our young people. Your example of humility, service, sacrifice, and excellence is admirable and worthy of emulation. Today, I am proud to be a Titan and a member of a school community that values and recognizes our veterans, not only today, but every day. We take pride in our JROTC program and our work to prepare some of the potential future servicemen and women of our country. They are following in your footsteps. To the many veterans on our school staff, Sergeant First Class Simon, our JROTC instructor, and our distinguished guests, thank you again for your service and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, sir. Students from Miss Hall's theater class will now present a selection of essays and poems along with their patriotic slideshow.
Veterans Day does not get the pomp and circumstance of other holidays. But every day, every year, on November 11th, we as Americans take time to recognize the heroes among us. They are the men and women who served in our armed forces. They are the veterans of the United States military. How do you say thank you to the millions of people who've given up years away from their friends and family? How do you pay tribute to people who risked life and limb so we can live in the land of the free? You start by gathering them together and letting them know that you are aware of their sacrifices that they have made and are humbled to be in their presence. I stand before you, respectfully, to say thank you for my freedom.
It is the veteran, not the preacher, who has given us the freedom of religion. It is the veteran, not the reporter, who has given us the freedom of the press. It is the veteran, not the poet, who has given us the freedom of speech. It is the veteran, not the campus organizer, who has given us freedom to assemble. It is the veteran, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the veteran, not the politician, who has given us the right to vote. It is the general public, not the veteran, that owes a debt of gratitude to the brave men and women who have served our country.
Thank you for stepping forward when others have stepped back. Thank you for placing yourself between us and danger. Thank you for delaying plans for college, marriage, and other opportunities in choosing to serve. Thank you for braving the unspeakable horrors of war. Thank you for sacrificing time with your families and missing those significant milestones the rest of us take for granted. Thank you to your spouses who find themselves living nomadic lives, often away from the support of loved ones. Thank you to your children who accept your absence as a way of life and understand they have to share you with a nation and sometimes the whole world. Thank you to your parents who have nothing but prayers to protect you now and trust you to be safe, that you will that we will offer the best we have to you. Thank you for continuing to support your country once you leave military service by following new careers and becoming the teachers, clergy, business owners, pilots, civil servants, and so much more that we need to become a successful society.
Thank you for involving yourself in your local community, your state, and your country, helping us solve problems and to create a vision for our future using the skills you learned during your tour of duty. Thank you for being a conscience to our nation. Thank you for serving as a heroic example of who we are and what we can dream to be. Thank you for your service.
A veteran is a person who fell in love with their country, for better or worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. A veteran is a person who is willing to lay down their life for the Statue of Liberty so that her poor, her huddled masses, her homeless, her tempest-tossed may breathe free and may enjoy life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. A veteran is a person who does what he or she must in spite of personal consequences, in spite of obstacles and dangers and pressures, for that is the basis of all human morality. A veteran is one who gets a lump in the throat when he or she sees our beloved flag, one who will fight to protect our beautiful flag from those who dare to dishonor it. A veteran is one who pays their taxes willingly, serves their country honorably, and cherishes their freedom passionately. A veteran is one well-deserving of our appreciation, our love, and our prayers, 365 days a year.
I was a proud veteran that served my country well. To those who would listen, I had many stories to tell. We fought for America's freedom in faraway places on foreign land. Whenever the battle for democracy raged, America's finest made a stand. We fought for your future and the right to remain free, for we gave our life, for we saw what freedom meant to those not blessed with liberty. For you and yours, we would gladly have given our life. We face the fears and perils of battle, we brave endless turmoil and strife. Please remember us veterans and the sacrifices we made for you. Please share the blessings of freedom, proudly wave the red, white, and blue.
On Veterans Day, we honor all who answered to a service call. Soldiers young and soldiers old fought for freedom, brave and bold. Some have lived while others died, and all of them deserve our pride. We're proud of all the soldiers who kept thinking of red, white, and blue. They fought for us and all our rights. They fought through many days and nights. And though we may not know each name, we thank all veterans just the same.
Our flag does not fly because the wind moves it. It flies with every last breath of every soldier who died defending it.
On behalf of the Lorain High student body, thank you to all veterans. We would not be here today without your sacrifices. We promise to never forget. We will keep you in our hearts all year round.
If someone has done military service, they earn the title veteran and more. They earn our deep respect and admiration. That they are special, no one can ignore. They sacrifice the comforts we enjoy. The list is long of all the things they gave. Our veterans are extraordinary people. They're loyal, dedicated, true, and brave. When terror and invasion were real threats, they showed us they could handle any storm. We owe our freedoms and our very lives to veterans who served in uniform. Our veterans should be celebrities. They're exceptional, no other group compares. We're grateful for the many things they've done. They're always in our hearts and in our prayers. We owe our veterans support and friendship. Let no one ever question what they're worth. These men and women served us and our country. Our veterans, the very best on earth.
When America had an urgent need, these brave ones raised a hand. No hesitation held them back. They were proud to take a stand. They left their friends and family. They gave up normal life To serve their country and their God, they plowed into the strife. They fought for freedom and for peace on strange and foreign shores. Some lost new friends, some lost their lives in long and brutal wars. Other veterans answered a call to support the ones who fought. Their country had requirements for the essential skills they brought. We salute every one of them, the noble and the brave, the ones still with us here today, and those who rest in a grave. So here's to our country's heroes. They're a cut above the rest. Let's give the honor that is due to serve our country's very best.
The JROTC Honor Guard, commanded by Cadet Major Sam Danger, will now present the Prisoner of War Missing in Action ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, the Lorain High School Army Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps Honor Guard, under the command of Cadet Major Sam Dandria, will now present the Prisoner of War Missing in Action ceremony. The other members of the Honor Guard are Cadet Command Sergeant Major Matthew Gannon, Cadet Private Xavier Santiago, Cadet Private Morales Goze Cotto, Cadet Corporal David LeBoy, and I am Cadet Captain Cheyenne Sowers. It is an honor and privilege to introduce and acknowledge this table. This table represents and pays tribute to all of the prisoners of war missing in action and killed in action from America's involvement in World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Grenada, the Persian Gulf Desert Storm, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan, and more. Many of you have looked at this table and wondered. Let me explain. This table, set for 5, symbolizes the frailty of the prisoners against their oppressors. Remember, the tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their country's call to arms. Remember, the single candle displayed at the center of the table is symbolic of the families and loved ones who kept up the faith, waiting for the return of those so dear to them. Remember, the yellow ribbon tied so prominently on the candle symbolizes our continued uncertainty and hope for their return and determination to account for them. Countless bear witness and demand for a proper account of our missing. Remember, the lemon on the bread plate reminds us of their bitter fate. Remember, there is salt on the bread plate. They cannot toast with us tonight. Remember, the glasses are inverted. They cannot toast with us tonight. Remember, the chairs are empty. They are not here. Remember, all of you who have served with them and called them brothers and sisters, who depended upon their might and aid and relied upon them, remember them, for surely they have not forgotten you.
The story must be told of valor and bold. So let them write it down in history. A young soldier cries for his comrades who died, fighting for a cause that they believed. But nobody's seen or heard a sound. There was no parade for them downtown. We found the last patrol standing by the wall of fallen heroes. Tell their mothers that their sons are mine. marching in the sky. Tell them that they're soldiers of the cloud. Please tell them so they know. Tell them that they're soldiers of the cloud. The wounds will never heal, and the feelings that they feel left a scar for all the world to see. But the eagle always flies for the men who fought and died, and it flies for all eternity. But nobody's seen or heard a sound. There was no parade for them downtown. We found the last footprints standing by the wall of fallen heroes. Tell their fathers that their sons are marching in the sky. Tell them that they're soldiers of the cloud. Please tell them. Please tell them so they know. Tell them that they're soldiers of the cloud. Standing by the wall of fallen heroes. Tell their parents that their sons are marching in the sky. Tell them that they're soldiers of the cloud. Please tell them so they know. Tell them that they're soldiers of the cloud.
Good morning, veterans, families, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cadet Captain Cheyenne Sowards. On behalf of our Chief Executive Officer, David Hardy Jr., our Executive Officer, Director Mr. Daniel Garvey, and the Lorain High School Junior Army ROTC Honor Guard, under the direction of Sergeant First Class Chris Simon, we're honored to be here at this special event. To our veterans in attendance, thank you for your service and sacrifice to our nation's defense and freedom. This Sunday, November 11th, is Veterans Day, a day and time for us to pause and reflect to the contributions our veterans have made in honor of our fallen comrades and all of those who have gave the ultimate sacrifice and defense our country and freedom. American revolutionary Thomas Paine wrote in his pamphlet, Common Sense, "It is not in numbers, but in unity that our great strength lies." Those words are as true today as they were in 1776. The unity that is America springs from one cause, freedom. Generation after generation of Americans have stepped forward to defend our freedom and to preserve the founding principles of our great nation. From Valley Forge to Vietnam, from Kuwait to Kandahar, from Berlin to Baghdad, these patriots have stood watch over America's peace, and when necessary, they have borne the cost of our nation's wars. There are more than 24 million living veterans that are among our nation's finest citizens. They have served our country and continue to serve our communities. Throughout our presentation, we honor all of the veterans for their solemn pledge to defend our freedom. We pledge to uphold the legacy by teaching younger generations about their role in securing the blessings of liberty and about how the veterans' courage shaped our nation's history. In addition, we would like to thank the United States Armed Forces and their families for their dedication, sacrifice, and service to our country. Let us remember those deployed on foreign soil and in harm's way, standing watch on point for our nation around the world. Please pray for our servicemen and women for a safe return home, and continues to support them in their mission on global war on terrorism and protecting our nation's freedom. God bless America, and let us never forget. Thank you.
Shortly, we will observe a moment of silence by the following of Taps by Kyle Zatt. Although Taps was originally played as a bugle call at the end of each day, it is now customary played at burials and memorial services to accompany the lowering of the flag and to signify the ends of one's life given in sacrifice of their country. Today, it is played to honor our living veterans and sacrifices you have made. Please stand to your feet. You may be seated. Thanks to our veterans for attending today and for your service. Students and teachers, please wait for our veterans to leave the auditorium before returning to your classrooms.
This has been a production of Lorain City Schools TV 20 WLCS.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Ian Ralston was a combat medic who was injured in Iraq. When I met Ian, I knew we had to help him get his housing grant, an auto grant, and every benefit to live as normal a life as possible. And we did.
PVA has helped hundreds of thousands of veterans get the care and benefits they've earned.
My name is Jason Stevenson, and I work for Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Paralyzed Veterans of America, changing lives, building futures.